Greetings and welcome to another session of Empower You. I am Jeanne Thompson, founder of Empower You. We are a community dedicated to sharing tools and information that you can use to empower yourself as we move through our daily lives and the shifts that we are currently experiencing. Today we're really excited to share all things crystals, and our featured guest is Rorey Moon, an intuitive crystal healer and empath. We trust you enjoy the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today it is spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, and we hail from Canada, eh? Right? They didn't call this the Canadian Shield for nothing. So we have Rorey Moon here with us, and Rorey Moon is a crystal wisdom interpreter. So in other words, she knows a lot of shit about rocks, like just, genie speak. Okay? And so she's here to share her wisdom about the crystals and also to share something really exciting that's coming up for you to jump on board and sign up and get some information. So, hi, Rorey, how are you?
Hi, Jeannie. I'm feeling fantastic. I've really been looking forward to this. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So, Rorey's in the Toronto area, and I'm up near Lakefield, Ontario, but we call it Avalon, because it is right here by the river. But let's just start out this year, or this program, talking about a specific crystal that is close to my heart. And it is the rose quartz. Now, the reason why we began talking about this is I'm also a numerologist. So numerology is a science, and it's math, and it's basically the idea that we're all energetic beings, and what we put out we get back, and there's a lot of cause and effect, and we reap what we sow. But before we started this, Rorey and I were just having this little conversation, and her birthday is a specific birthday, just like yours, just like mine, but you have a specific cycle for that day. So according to Rorey's birthday today, she's having what we call a 35/8 personal vibration day, her daily vibe. Okay, so what does that mean in genie speak? What does that mean in numerology? Like, what the heck does that mean? Okay, 3 and 5 is 8. And 8 people is the number for most people's 4 favorites: money, sex, wealth, and power. But what they forgot was this puppy over here, like the lotus flower. That's all about love. And so if we're all worried about the money and we're doing everything for the man and the money and all of that, are we loving what we do? No, we're not. So it's not sustainable, people. Love is the only answer. And rose quartz, Rorey, I'm going to get you to share what you've got underneath your chair, but she just happens to have a pink day. So I would say numerically that Rorey is having a 35/8 day. And I would say, okay, Rorey, you need to be working with rose quartz today. That is your overall stone. Now, she didn't know this before we had you had no idea. But this is just me, right? So I said, what, did you place that there? Like, was that because you can do it with your intention? Yeah, I'm having a rose quartz day. Okay, I'm going to carry a rose quartz in my pocket. I'm going to wear rose quartz around my neck or a bracelet, or I'm going to put a big honking boulder underneath my computer. And I don't know why, but I'm finding out now. So, Rorey, could you tell us what you've learned about rose quartz and why you like it so much?
Absolutely. So here's I actually have 2 chunks. I didn't mention this, but this is one of my rose quartz chunks. And what's beautiful about rose quartz is it's in the quartz family. So quartz are really well known as amplifiers. So this is going to be a really great love amplifier. Another reason that I love rose quartz is it really supports my anxiety. I know we talk a lot about love, but every time I'm trying to like do crystal recommendations and talk through things with people, I like to hear where things kind of live in their body. So for me, when I get anxious, my heart flutters, I feel a weight on my chest, not keeping in mind everything that's going on in my head. So my anxiety lives a lot in my heart chakra. So a powerful stone, especially of this size, is really, really great even to help with that. Other reasons that people use rose quartz are, some of the obvious ones. They're having relationship problems that can be romantic or like friendship relationships, or they're just not opening themselves up to all of this abundance of love. So I always recommend not this size, but something a little bit more along the lines of this. This is a little rose quartz heart. So we have these beautiful things called crystal keepers. That's actually their formal name for bra. But you can keep a rose quartz in your bra on the left side if you are feeling like you have that kind of blockage or you just need that extra self-love. It's very subtle. It takes literally no effort. Just pop it in. You can set it and forget it. But I really, really love doing that too. It's very fun.
And just the symbolism of the heart too, the rose quartz heart.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it is heart energy. Anything else that you can think of, or do you want me to just spill a little bit too?
Oh, let's go back and forth. I'm not going to talk.
Okay, so I'm getting all jazzed up. Just listening to what you said about, love and, the heart chakra and all of that. Actually, I didn't bring my big chunk of rose quartz in, but I do have one in the other room. It's about as big as yours, but it's a triangle. I like to move the L in that. It's a triangle. Okay, so when you're really upset, okay, and you need to either forgive yourself, because heart is all about, what is it? It is about forgiveness. It's also about love. But love and forgiveness, in my opinion anyway, correct me if you think I'm batshit crazy like some people do, but ask me if I really care at this point. No, I don't, because I'm 64. um, so the thing is that it really helps you to forgive not only yourself but others. So the other thing that causes anxiety, okay, let's just spin into all these things. So you've got this rose quartz. I'm holding this and it's getting hot.
Mm.
So we talk about the crystals heating up, right? What does it mean, Rorey? What does it mean to you when the crystal heats up? What goes on there?
Yeah, it's interesting because they're cold to the touch. I have a lot of people ask me like, okay, how do you know a crystal's real? I'm like, well, it's going to be cold. That's how you can tell like a plastic from like a crystal. And as it sits on your skin, it's soothing, it's cool. But as it's heating up, it's kind of like drawing, in my opinion, it's drawing whatever is blocking you. It's drawing it out, and it's like sterilizing it, almost like
Mm-hmm.
boiling it. That's kind of what I think about it when I feel a crystal getting really hot.
Yeah, because uh, it's like a volcano, right? Like the rocks or the lava drawing, that volcanic negative energy. Okay, there are positive and negative ions. There is no good or evil, people. Okay, that got turned around by who a long time ago, and we won't get started on that because we'll be here for 4 hours. However, the thing is that there's positive and negative ions. That's it. And when we hold that negative energy, if we think of ourselves as energetic molecular beings, there are molecular structures in the crystals. We are part of the mother, and there are molecular structures in the crystals. So all the gold that the miners are going to dig and rape the mother for the gold, for the money, okay, ain't going to save them when they close their heart up and they have an attack because they have no love left in their heart chakra. Okay, let's get to the chakras. the heart chakra, we have 7 chakras. So let's get to this rose quartz, back to the rose quartz again. It governs the heart chakra. So, you know, I'm a badass, eh, Rory? So one of the things that I would utilize a rose quartz for is for forgiveness, okay? So I have a beautiful scarf with a butterfly over my TV, okay? I don't watch CNN or the news or anything like that. But I have my big rose quartz, the big honkin' rock crystal, at hand, just in case anybody wants to turn that puppy on. And then I'll throw my rock crystal through the TV, break it, and they'll have to forgive me for it because I used a rose quartz. It's just my sixth sense of humor.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. But when you're working, another stone for anxiety, okay? So where does it hit you? It hits you in your heart chakra, okay? So what other stone would you use for the heart in combination with that, Rory?
Well, for me, heart's associated with like green and pink.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
really great stone. Do you think I have it on me? I don't. It's called Unakite, but it's a beautiful like olive green with this like watermelon pink, and it's all blurred together. And that's a really great. Do you have a Unakite, or are you like looking for
Yeah,
one?
I do.
I'm like,
Go ahead.
I can see it. I can see it. But I love that
You
stone.
talk about that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. So Unakite has both the green and the pink, so that makes it a really great nurturing stone for the heart chakra. So think of like the green is like the nurturing side, and the pink is like the compassion side. So two things that we really need to support our heart chakra. So that's actually a really, really great stone for the heart. I had another one in mind. Oh yeah, of course I don't have this one handy either. I promise I have a collection of crystals here. And still the ones that come to mind are like arm's length away. The other one I was thinking of, Jeannie, was, I don't know if your headphones are on, is rhodonite. It's like black and pink, and that's like, I call it like the jolt to the heart chakra. Is this the Unakite?
Unakite.
Nice.
Unakite ball.
Nice.
Okay, and do you know that you can get Unakite in Marmora, Ontario?
Oh, no, I didn't.
It is mined in the little town of Marmora, which is probably about an hour east of Peterborough.
Okay.
And you can get Unakite there. So what was the one you were talking while I was away with, the black, or was it?
Yeah, rhodonite.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. The other one is malachite.
Yes.
Okay,
See,
so that.
I always look at malachite as, I don't know where I picked this up, but like a stone for safe travel. And that's always how I associated malachite. But I've heard people talking about it for heart chakra. Obviously, it's green. Have you heard that before, you, Jeannie?
Well, if you believe in reincarnation, like I do, and travel, malachite is about the badassest stone you can possibly have. That and smoky quartz. But we'll get into that in a minute. But malachite, the other thing is that the rocks vibrate to certain numbers. Yes. And the malachite vibrates to the number 26.
Okay.
26. And 26, numerically, well, that's my number, but it's 2 times 13. 13, 13. So 13 is known as the death card in the tarot deck, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's also known as the death number. Like every time people, ooh, Friday the 13th, you know, but some people think it's lucky because it is. Okay, 13 is actually the number, people, of total transformation. Okay, so what malachite is, okay, I get called in on a serious note because I am a medium, okay, and I am a healer, a crystal worker, just like you. So lots of times I get called into hospital rooms when people are leaving the planet. So what I do is I take in rose quartz and malachite, because malachite is a rebirther. Okay, so about your thought about safe travels, it's about shifting from one consciousness into another, or one dimension into another, or one world into another. It means that something's going to be rocking and rolling in your life. And people who hold the number 26 are the same kind of people. Now, you've only known me for 2 months, but you'd probably attest to that, would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a little intense. I'm not too intense today because I just spent 2 or 3 days in 55 acres in utter bliss, but I can be extremely intense. But pink and green together,
Mm.
that those are the two colors for the heart, right?
Yeah.
And unakite also can be used for the blood,
Mm.
for clearing the blood.
Like a detox,
So,
like a
yeah,
purification.
yeah. So, with the world going on right now, just to recap about the rose quartz, because let's talk about some of our other little puppies that we use. I call them all puppies. I have a whole kennel here full
Oh.
of puppies. um, but the rose quartz is for forgiveness, and the rose quartz is for heart energy.
Mhm.
And right now, with what we're going through as a collective, there's a lot of people's hearts that are hurting. They're really hurting. There's a lot of loss in the world. There's a lot of people leaving the planet. This is a culling, people. This goes way back to the Black Plague. Yes, the 1800s. It's cyclical. Okay, this is people leaving the planet. This is what's really going on. People leaving the planet to make room for others who are vibrating to a higher frequency, because we are all energetic beings. So, what we are doing now as a collective is we are holding space for everything to go to rat shit. I mean, fall apart. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But the people that I fondly call WWM, okay, WMM, sorry, World Management Team, WMT, sorry, I can't even spell today. See what happens when you get off the internet for two days? WMT, World Management Team, would have us to believe that everything's going to hell in a handbasket. The other thing that's hurting our hearts right now is hugs. Hugs. People are starved for hugs. Absolutely starved. So when you work with rose quartz and malachite, you can assist yourself to work through the emotions that you're having. If you have to have a good cry, to release it, because we have to release it. Otherwise, our heart chakra will attack us and we will die. The heart is where we start. Okay. But also, we talk about heart, head to heart. So we have to connect now our heads to our hearts, don't you think, Rory?
Yeah.
Because if we don't, it's like, okay, nothing is logical anymore, is it? Nothing feels okay because we as a people are off the map.
Mhm.
So there was an indigenous leader named Chief Seattle once said that the longest journey mankind or has to make humankind is from their heads to their hearts. So right now we're all in this big river and we are in a 5 cycle year. So the other thing that I would suggest, let's get on to this going into the head thing. Okay,
Mhm.
first, the head crystal. Because we didn't know how we were going to structure this. Like we just said, we're going to fly by the seat of our pants, which we are, which is fun. Um, but the head. So, Rory, tell us, what would you use? Which stones would you use for the head and the third eye? So, for the crown chakra, Okay, so this is your crown. It's the seventh chakra, and it acts like a funnel, and all of the information comes through. So which would you suggest for the crown and the third eye? What are the crystals?
I'm so glad you asked. Third eye chakra. We're going with some staples here. So this is good even if someone's like not familiar with crystals. I'm not pulling some stuff out of left field here. I'm going with the staples. But amethyst. Okay. This wouldn't be one that I would recommend resting on your forehead during meditation, but I really love amethyst for opening up the third eye and intuition. That's been a stone that has been with me for a very, very long time. Not this specific piece, but just amethyst in general. Actually, funny story about this piece. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
Okay, so this is like a very, very nice amethyst. It's very deep and I absolutely love it. And my partner was on a trip to New York, like a business trip, and whatever, he was there for the day and then came back and he's like, oh, I brought you something. And I was like, what do you mean? And he pulls this black box and this beautiful amethyst inside. And I'm like, where did you find this? He's like, oh, I was walking down the street, found this crystal shop, went inside and bought you a crystal. So out of left field, so out of character. I'm like, of course your path brought you to a crystal shop in New York. Like, of course. I'm not even that
New
surprised.
York's so huge, but yeah.
Right? And he took it in his carry-on, like, because he didn't check bags. So I'm like, you got it past security. I don't even know if you're allowed to, like, casually bring this stuff over the border. If you're not allowed, it's fine. But
Okay,
yeah,
I won't show my condor feather then.
yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like, I was just so surprised. And, like, it was like a gift from him, but also a gift from the universe. And I'm like, I treasure it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So the number Jeannie, and Jeannie, your friend Jeannie would go, hey, Rory, when did you get that? What was the year? What was going on for you at the time? Why did you need it?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
Okay,
I should check,
it's
though. I'll let
just,
you know.
okay, but I just wanted to bring this up because seriously, I do look under rocks for answers. Okay, been looking under them for 35 years now.
Mhm.
Okay, so anything that comes in or out of my house. So if it were my partner and he came home with the amethyst, the first thing I would do was I would look up in one of my reference books, why do I need amethyst? So that's one of the reference books you use. Let's see. What's
Yeah,
that? Tell
this was the
everybody.
it's called The Essential Guide to Crystals, and the author is Simon and Sue Lilly.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one. That looks pretty good. And they have pictures of the crystals
Oh yeah,
inside.
pictures and
I see
like
how dog-eared it is.
yeah. Jeannie, this was the first book I ever bought when I was first started making intention malas. I went through and I dog-eared all of the ones that I thought would benefit people. And I was like, this. So when I was in the shop, I would like bring my book and like, oh, do you have this one in stock?
Yeah.
It was
Okay,
great.
so that's really cool. But that was what I would do is I would look up and I'd say, how come I have this piece of amethyst?
Mhm.
Okay. There's my one piece of amethyst. My friend Angie from the Land of On bought that, but that amethyst looks like it's growing balls, doesn't it?
Yeah, it almost looks like spirit, like
Uh-huh.
like spirit quartz.
Yeah, I know, like spirit quartz. I've never seen an amethyst like that.
Oh,
Okay, so here's the story. Okay, so this was my friend Angie bought this probably about 3 years ago.
okay.
Okay. Now, I'm a medium, but what happened 3 years ago is I lost a really good friend who's a heavy hitter that I'm coming out with a book later on that has some of her stories in it. But Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries.
Mhm.
Okay. Amethyst governs the crown chakra. It vibrates to the number 7. 7 is the number of the mystic. The mystic doesn't know why they know what they know.
Mhm.
They just know. Well, how do you know that? I don't know. How did you know to call that person, to buy them this, to give them this? They don't know. But after the fact, you find it because seven is the number of time. And so that's hindsight. Okay. It's not, and if you spell time backwards, it spells emit. So amethyst is all about trusting. It's trusting what you know. It's the crown chakra. Because what we tend to do is if we cannot see the results or if we cannot understand why, we don't believe it. We tend to say, okay, I need to see it to believe it. So if I was doing a chart or a session for somebody, because I do numerology blueprints for people, sessions, if somebody had a seven in their makeup, like our friend Catherine from Collective Soul Evolution, she has a seven.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one, if she was a pirate in a past life, she'd be the one with the gold coin going, I want to know if it's real. Is it real? Because if it's not real, I'm not going to believe it.
Oh, there goes
Can
your
you
head.
imagine? My head's not big enough for these earphones. Anyway, I thought it was pretty big. So there's that. But the other story about amethyst, this is really cool. Okay, right now, what's happening in the world, let's just get a couple other little teachings in here while we slip around with the rocks. Okay, so whatever's going on in the world right now goes back 22 years. It started in 2020. We've got the number 22, 2020. 20 is Judgment Day in the tarot deck. It's like, the key words for last year were self-awareness, adaptability, and big turning points. How many people had to get more adaptable? How many people had to make big turning points? How much more self-awareness did, when you're up against your COVID partner and you're realizing that you do not have compatible neuroses?
Yep.
Oh boy, there's a whole other subject, but we won't even go there. You might need a bit more rose quartz or something. Surround yourself, put it all around your bed or whatever.
Yeah.
But now we're in this 2021, and this is about getting more clarity. And it's about doing things with love. But we're also in turning points, and the key words are turning points, adaptability, awareness, but the world is changing. So thought turns into form. So if you are putting up blocks with negative thinking, I can't do that. This isn't happening. I don't have any money. Close the door, keep the period there, put the full stop, the seven. The amethyst will do a job on your head. The amethyst is good to do a frontal lobotomy on your head. Okay? Now, 1998, whatever was happening for everybody in 1998, you, Rory, the same. We're all on this cliff together. I can tell you what happened for me in 1998. And the reason why I want to say this really quickly is see, everything that gives to me, I'm going, why do I have this? Okay, my father was leaving the world. Okay, my father was he was a soldier in the war, and actually he was a human experiment to test out to see if the landmines were live or not. Okay, that's what my father did. That's where the kind of stock I come from. Okay, okay, on a Harley he would go out ahead of the troops, and if he came back, then they could go, and if not, then he was done. Okay, that was my dad. All right, so he's dying. I get gifted with this amethyst ring. Look at this. Doesn't it
Wow.
look like the philosopher's stone or something? Okay, this has never come off. Amethyst is called the stone of all. That's why they call it the chevron.
Mm.
This is a chevron amethyst. This came to me because one of my good friends who had known me forever had a dream about his grandmother. And his grandmother came to him in a dream. And his grandmother was a seer. And her name was Hattie. And she lived in the 1800s. Okay. And this was her ring. And as soon as I put it on, I started getting, because I'm a medium, I'm getting goosebumps now. Hattie might be even here. Whenever you get goosebumps, it's truth bumps. That's another teaching. But I put this ring on, and and all of a sudden I started getting images of Hattie. And I said, oh man, she was a wild one, eh? She lived by the river. She lived in a house by the river and she painted her living room turquoise. It was unheard of way back then. It was like bright turquoise, and everybody was like, but people used to come and see her. So the next day he comes over to help me with my dad. He brings the album, family album. Bitten image of Hattie. I described her to a T. Okay. And then, and I'm wondering, like, why am I getting it? He has two girls. Like, why is he giving it to me? Like, they should be the one inheriting. No, she specifically said it had to go to me. Okay, this is a Sears ring. In 1998, I wasn't nearly as psychic as I am now. Okay? I wasn't nearly as clear as I am now. And also because my dad, this is another thing that some of you may have dealt with, maybe you too, Rorey. My dad didn't believe a friggin' thing I said when I was a kid, so I learned to shut up. Okay, now he has to help me bring dead people through for other people. It's pretty funny. That's his penance. Okay, but I had this ring, and ever since that ring, I have been channeling more and more. So let me ask you another question. What other stone would you use for, like, say, your third eye or something like that?
Well, okay. Backpedaling. This is why we wing it. I wanted to visit the fact that amethyst for me helps my third eye, but you associate it with the crown, and how sometimes there's ones that can help different chakras or different stones working for different people. I think that's very important to bring up, because even times when you're just like searching yourself or cross-referencing different books, sometimes they say different things, and it's like, which is right? What is the truth? And it's not really what's the truth. It's like what works for you, I guess.
And what you resonate to. Like,
Exactly.
you are a crystal wisdom interpreter. That really is talking about when you're working with people, and you have a crystal course coming up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're working with people, you get guided, right, to use different crystals.
Yeah.
What I like to do after the fact is look up what they mean, all of them. So amethyst, third eye.
Yeah, I still do that when I go into crystal shops. Well, I mean, not really so much right now, but even though I can identify crystals, like a lot of them, I'll still go in and be like, what looks pretty today? And then I'll research more about the crystal and see like what's coming up specifically about that. So that's really, really fun. But anyways, back to your question. I only have a little piece here, but I really love labradorite for my intuition. Some of them are really, really flashy. This one I think only has a little bit of like blue flash on the side, which isn't really being picked up by the camera. But this stone, I can't get enough of it. I will keep buying. You're wearing the necklace, aren't you?
Just a minute.
And no matter how many pieces I have, I will keep purchasing it. And like, then there's kind of like different, not iterations, but like cousins of labradorite, like the black moonstones, like any moonstone. They're kind of like cousins of labradorite, and that's connected into my divine feminine and the power of the moon and the moon cycles and like all these things. So they just keep coming to me. And anytime someone's like, I really need a stone to help with my intuition, I was like, first labradorite, second a grounding stone, and like start
Yeah,
there.
because labradorite's got all that watery blue. But I'd also say citrine. Okay, now citrine for your third eye and also for your solar plexus. Now, the interesting thing that, for you when you're talking about how you like working with amethyst for your third eye, well, citrine is part of the amethyst family. And did you know that citrine is one of the only stones that you never have to clear? Okay, that's the other thing, the teaching that we need to talk about here. Because, okay, so you're talking about going into the crystal shops, but you know that when people are holding crystals, like you said before, right?
Yeah.
The crystal is drawing that whatever it is out of you, right? So what do you do to clear your stones? How do you do that? And
There are
and what is it? Let's explain for people who might know
yeah,
not like what they're doing here.
for sure. Yeah. So cleansing or charging, honestly, I sometimes use the word interchangeably because for me, the act looks the same, if I'm being honest. But what that means is you can kind of think it as like dusting the bad energies off of your crystal. You can think of it as a retune or recalibration so that your intention and the crystal's intentions like align. And sometimes when you're cleansing or charging, sometimes it's more for you than for the crystal. I know some people really follow that school of thought where like crystals are perfect, they don't need to change. It's actually the users that need to be cleansed before they engage.
Hmm.
So the three ways that I like to cleanse or charge my crystals, I do with sound. So I know you have your bells, but I also have my little tinctures.
Yeah,
I
okay, so sound them off. Yep. And so the sound, works with the aura. So crystals have auras too. That's why they go in the store, pick me, pick me. It just, and if you think I've got a bushfire here in the background, I don't. Okay,
no,
but this is how I clear mine, one of the big ways. Okay.
yeah, with smoke.
Uh, because one time I went to the doc and he told me I waited too long and I had to go and have a big operation and stuff and all that stuff. And I said, just give me my notes so I get off work. And I went and studied with a native shaman for about 12 years,
Mm.
drank a whole bunch of roots and all sorts of stuff. And so this is what we call sage. Okay, and in indigenous teachings, what it does is it clears our aura. Okay, so if we've been, like, say, to Walmart or some big box store, I'm usually out in the parking lot saying, can you pick me that up when you go in? Because we clear energy when we walk, especially right now. So when I come home, I clear myself off. If people come into my house or my space, no offense, but I'm going to smoke you right the heck out. Okay, you and your ass and your attitude. Okay, yeah, right out. It doesn't matter because everybody comes in. So this is one way I do it. I do it with sound. Another way you can do it is by putting a citrine, doesn't have to be very big, anywhere near anything you want to clear,
Mm.
because citrine is one of the only stones that you don't need to clear. It self clears. If you put it in citrine in your purse, in your wallet, honest to God, it creates money babies. It really
Ah,
does. Have you heard that?
Jeannie, I am so glad you said this because I've talked so much about like abundance and like yes, attracting money, but also opportunity and like, all these things. And I'm like, wherever your purse or wallet sleeps at night, put citrine there too. Or like you said, literally keep it in your wallet or in your purse. And it's like, oh, I love it. That's my
I
citrine.
don't
Like,
lie. It's like they're like bunnies in there overnight, people. I tell you, I don't know. It just happens. And, I don't know. Maybe that's why they named me Jeannie and I was supposed to figure all this shit out. But
so I
let's
have
go.
this. I made like a mini like grid. I do like stacked grids sometimes. So I have a little piece of citrine and resting on top of it, it's like barely sitting, a little piece of pyrite, and then a toonie, which is a $2 coin for anyone who is not from Canada. And it just like
Yeah.
just balanced on top of each other. And I just look at it and I was like, yes.
And interesting, the number two.
Mm,
Okay. So being a numerologist, I analyze. Okay. So this is interesting that you made your little stack.
yeah.
Okay, so in your intention. This is why I love this stuff. Like, it's endless. Okay, so after the fact, you put a toonie on top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, two is if you add two, 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 two. Okay, there are some things that are still right in the Bible, okay? Whenever two or more are gathered, there is what? Did somebody say love? What? Okay, so it's you and I together. There's a lot of love between us. Both of us are crystal healers, but you know what? We both do different things. Both of us are healers. We both do different things. And here we are collaborating together to say, hey, people, here's me, here's you. Pick one of us, pick both of us. You'll have a great time. But don't write our name on any bathroom walls and say for a good time call. Okay? Been there, done that, got the t shirt. Right. Back to the toonie. Two is the number of choice. To be or not to be. Now, I think Shakespeare might have smoked a little bit too much or an inch too much when he said that is a question. It's not a question, people. It is a choice, not a question. You know, your power does not live outside of you. Remember that. So whatever you decide, but where do your decisions come from? Everybody thinks it comes from your logical mind. Your big ego, eh? Ego, ego, ego. Yeah, I'm trying to force it happen. I want money. I want money. I want money. I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it for money. Oh my God, my back is sore. Remind me to talk about the rock that's good for that. Okay, but back to the toonie. So they call it number two. You ever thought about that, Rorey? Why they call it number two?
No.
Because that's where all the poop lives. Right. My sense of humor has got hair on it.
You really tricked me. I've heard you say that before, and I'm like, yes, tell me why.
Okay, because our decisions don't come from our conscious mind. They come from our subconscious. And that's where all the little shit, the 0 to 3. 0 to 3, when you were a little baby, all the stuff that you picked up that you have to unlearn about money. And what's the number of abundance? 3. And what number does citrine vibrate to? 3. And why is it good to put in your purse? Because you're telling universe, I am ready to receive. You don't have to know how you're going to get it, people. You just have to say yes. Because your angels and guides are saying, look at Rorey, that stubborn little sea hag. She's not asking for help. I think I'm going to put her on her face again. So labradorite, women's intuition, you say. Mm-hmm. Does that help you writing too? Does it help you with writing or connecting to any verse or anything like that? Or you noticed? Yeah.
Specifically tried. I don't have labradorite like near me in our writing sessions.
Okay.
No.
Maybe you might want to get a little piece of that. I have a bit around my neck, but I have a small piece here.
Oh.
Just a small little bit of labradorite, otherwise known as spectralite. Look at this, the back of it. Like you wouldn't even know if you were in Newfoundland. Like, what's that?
Right, that's the raw side.
That's the rock. So that's the way the rock looks on the outside. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then that's it inside.
Oh my gosh. I just picked up some purple flash labradorites and I'm like, oh, it's so pretty.
Now, this little puppy, it's more like a moose or something, but anyway, I like this because look, I can put my index finger right there. Look, there's a groove right there. Yeah. Okay, so it's usually my FU figure, which is probably the better when I explain what I know about it. Okay. So I'm putting that there, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So from what I've gathered, labradorite, the key word for labradorite is authenticity. So that really goes with your idea about intuition, does it not? Okay,
Yep.
because your intuition is the only authentic thing that you have. It's the truth, right? But labradorite also works with two specific chakras, which is throat chakra and thymus. So your throat is there, your
Mhm.
thymus is there. Now,
Yeah.
numerically speaking, I'm having a 6-day power color blue, 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 and purple. Okay, so that's why I'm wearing blue and purple. Of course, I used to be a madame in a past life. But anyway, that's another story. We could probably sell that X-rated for quite a bit of money, but first of all, I'll get the unveiling the spirit world. Okay, so we've talked about labradorite. I'd like to close this session by just talking about water stones. So,
Mm.
like this year, we're in a water year. So
Mhm.
it's all about emotions. That's what I call water stones. So, what are, okay, so labradorite is one of them. It would
Mhm.
be a water stone because your intuition, right? What are some of the other stones that you could think of for like when you're working with your emotions other than rose quartz?
Mm. Oh my gosh, you remember that green moonstone that I
Mm-hmm.
sent you on our chat? That's I've been speaking to that as like the emotional healer, and I love
That
that
I
it.
didn't know what that would. Do you have that there? But you, this is what it doesn't matter. But
Do you want
this
me to
is
grab
what I'll
it?
tell the
Like,
story. Don't go grab it.
okay,
I'll keep talking.
okay,
Uh,
okay.
so this is a really funny story because I'm facilitating a writing class, and Rory's part of it. And so we were finished. We have to write on the clock, and so Catherine was keeping time, and everybody else was head down writing, and Rory and I just weren't getting any more words. So we were done, but we had to be quiet. So we were like doing crystal show and tell. So show us yours and tell us
Okay.
about it. Yeah, I really wanted to know what that was.
Yeah, so it's green moonstone, and I had to keep this one for myself because I just love the
It's got number
color.
11 in it too, eh? See that?
Yeah, I loved like 'cause some of them are more green, like olivey. I have one that literally looks like an olive. It's like all green. But this one, like it almost has like that glowy bit here. See
Mhm.
how it's like that, like kind of neon green, and then the beautiful like black bits. So it just like was very visually appealing to me, and the shape
Mhm.
was like perfect in my
Mhm.
palm. So I was like, "You're
It's
mine," and
almost, yeah.
like
I want
it.
to see that. I want to look at it. See, I would look at, okay, so Moonstone.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of faces in that too. But there's also, it almost looks like a J and a question mark. And then on the other side, there's the number 11. And
Okay.
11 is 2 raised to its highest level. And it's also a V, I see. So
Yep.
V is like the Yoni Yantra, okay? So the triangle, as
Yep.
above, so below. Okay. And Moonstone is, well, first of all, we're all lunatics. I don't care what you say. I might have been be a bigger lunatic than most because I am a Pisces and Pisces rules the moon. However, we are all lunatics. And it's about self-confidence and it's about, really trusting our intuition. And that is about our confidence in ourselves. And it's not up to us to try to figure out what the message is. It's just to get the message and give it. So if you feel that, if you're feeling that your client needs to hold some moonstone, then maybe, they're in a situation where they kind of, it's like, okay, I need to be more confident about myself or something like that. So
Well,
that is really cool.
yeah, like you hit the nail on the head because as women, I feel like we're cutting ourselves off from our divine feminine, and like that is the moon's essence. So when it comes to self-confidence, it's like being confident in your authentic self as a woman, as a nurturer, as a warrior, as someone who cares, as someone who empties their cup before they fill it. Like, you know, all of these things, you know, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, however you want to call it. Yeah, it's like we just kind of like cut it off. We're like, no, if you want to succeed, we have to be hyper masculine. Like, we have to like be firm and like, but you know, you can be kind and nurturing and successful.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, small tangent.
And you know, we are going to be doing more of these sessions because I could talk with Rorey Moon all day long about crystals, and this whole session came up as a result of us playing show and tell during the writing class. I just want to close with a couple of things, and then Rory's going to tell you about this fabulous opportunity that she is offering. But we are in a 41/5 year. This year is all about clarity. And so we're all in this river, and it's like we have to pay attention to what is in our heart. So pretend like, you know, you're crossing the river, and it's like, okay, that rock there, my head is telling me I'm going to be able to cross the river using that rock. But your heart is saying, no, it's not. It's that little one that's just poking up through the thing. Then you need to trust that. You also need to let go of the shore, okay? Because life is too uncertain for plans. So this is about going with the flow and realizing that whatever flows to you is supposed to flow to you, and whatever flows away from you, let it go, people. Okay, so the whales are very prominent this year. The whales and the dolphins. Okay, so you want to get yourself calmed down. You meditate with a piece of rose quartz or whatever to get yourself calm, but also listen to whale music. Okay, because whales, like just to do the meditation with the whale music. The other thing is that you could get yourself a piece of ocean jasper. Okay, I purchased this from an amazing place, actually, Cedar Dance Designs, the 55 acres where I was today. They have a website and stuff, and I'll share that at some point. But Ocean Jasper, getting you in touch with the ocean, or even actually when I was doing the meditation for the Number Genie newsletter for the year 2021, I actually have a piece of whale vertebrae, and it exploded into 3 pieces in my hands. So on that note, Rorey would like to speak with you about her course coming up.
Oh, I do, but Caribbean calcite, also an option if you prefer the beach to the wide ocean.
Okay.
Okay, super. Okay, so basically, when my whole journey started, I was very overwhelmed with trying to figure out what crystal did what and where to start and what is cleansing and, you know, what are chakras. And it was just like a lot of information. And I didn't always feel comfortable reaching out to amazing, you know, established intuitives like Jeanne, for example, to be like, hey, can you like give me some tips? So I did a lot of reading and got more overwhelmed and trying to sort of like found my footing and found what worked for me. So I basically created this whole course to be that first stepping stone for someone who is like, ooh, crystals are pretty, but what do I do with it when I get home? Or, you know, I have a couple and I know amethyst is for calming, but what else? Like, what else can I use? What else do I need? So it's a 5-week program called How to Work with Crystals. Self-explanatory, but we're going to cover cleansing, grids, body placements, like how to work with them, like through meditation. Basically, any question you have, we're probably going to address it in this course. Yeah, and it's going to be live. With
What are the time? What's the time on it? What's the timing?
It's starting the first week of April. So we're actually just going to collect the students together and we're going to find a time that works best for everyone. But it's going to be the first week, either an evening or a weekend, if that makes more sense for people. And yeah, I guess I'll send you the link and we can add it in the comments?
Yeah, you can send me the link, and you do have several people that have signed up already.
Yeah.
You are going to be closing the cart off within the next week or so, or by the full
And
moon, maybe.
full
Yeah,
moon. That's exactly what I
full
was
moon in
thinking.
Libra. That'd
Yep.
be March 28th then.
Closing off.
Okay, so
And
we are a week away. So we might let it go a little bit longer because we'll have to get this video out too.
yeah.
But we will put the link on the end. And okay, so how else can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, Rorey Moon, Rorey. That's probably the best place to find me. I also have a Facebook group called Crystals for Overwhelmed Women. Search me up. Let me know you found me in this video. That's where we can talk a little bit more privately about, specific things that are going on in your life. It's a great group.
Yep. And we could get together and do one for guys who are really wanting to get in touch with their feminine side too. Because basically we have male and female within both of us. And I got a little bit too much testosterone, so I'm just trying to get rid of some of that. Yeah, but that's another story. You can find me on Facebook in a lot of areas because I have trouble, just doing one thing. But I am the number Jeannie.com on website. I'm the number Jeannie. I'm Jeannie L. Thompson. But I also am a singer-songwriter for the Peace Train. I have a YouTube channel, Jeannie L. Thompson, and the Peace Train. And I also have Empower You, which is what we are, the platform that we are going on, that we are doing. I'm also releasing, and so excited to be releasing a 17-track CD in collaboration with Michael Moon, who is an incredible sound therapist, healer, all of that. He's internationally known, so that you can work with both your crystals and the music, and you can hear my breathy voice, the spoken word, channeled meditations. Thank you so, so, so much. We're just going to sign off and stop the recording now. And thank you so much. Rorey Moon, watch for her. Thank you so much for staying with us and enjoying this session of Empower You. I am Jeannie L. Thompson, founder of Empower You, and we have been speaking with none other but Rorey Moon, intuitive, crystal, healer, empath, among other things. So we will be posting links on how you can get in touch with Rorey Moon and all the things that she's up to. So much love. Please share, and subscribe to Empower You. Much more where this is coming from.